I broke your door, but I have big news!
Desra, what the fuck? What's so important?
My show! They want to produce my show!
If that's the case, why are you in here screwing up mine?
Hey folks, so since y'all seem to enjoy the last deep dive into my filmmaking process, I decided to do another. This time, I wanted to focus on fast action with a ton of variety, really seeing what Minimax is capable of in that capacity. But boy, I did not realize what I was in for. Minimax, for the most part, can handle all kinds of fast-paced combat while maintaining coherent motion and prompt adherence, but the amount of intensive video editing required to make the scenes believable and flow naturally was brutal. So let's get into that journey step by step, uncovering the unbelievable depth of Minimax's training for this crucial aspect of filmmaking: action. As always, character creation comes first. I decided since she's the channel mascot, Desra Vela would get a chance on stage to be a badass in this short. So, I fast forward through her story from where I ended in episode 1 of the live action all the way to the beginning of where episode 3 would start as far as story timing goes. I wanted Desra's design to feel a little bit more evocative and colorful this time around, so I made sure she had some cool new design choices that would be easy for the model to understand and animate. I then went ahead and created some simple designs for the two main villains, the vampires Silver Knight and Renfeld, who are here to personally dispose of the witch troublemaker who effectively threatens to expose them. As far as backgrounds go, I figure let's have the fight occur outside of town in a sort of abandoned countryside. Good opportunities for obstacles and destruction with magic spells and the such. Now I want to briefly overview my workflow's Minimax settings for this short. They changed a bit along the way, but this is what works, and trust me, you're gonna want to try this because it was a massive increase in performance and quality that I only discovered halfway through making this short. Here it is. Plug your FL2VA model into your Ref2VA node. The T2V/I2V model, or FL2VA, is just a faster, cleaner version of the model at the current time of making this video, and when plugged into the Ref2VA node, functions exactly like it. This allows you to use the FL2VA Turbo LoRa more effectively as well. My sampler settings: ER_SDE or SDE/beta. The community seems to love this combo, and Euler/Beta57 is also good. 8 steps with this, and the Light X2V Turbo LoRa at 1.0 megapixel size, or 768p, is the sweet spot for this model, and I stick with it for the entire short. As far as other speedups go, the new Comfy Kitchen Attention, which was added into my workflow in the new 2.0 version, is faster than Sage Attention and should be basically used by everyone. Make sure to add the Use CK Attention flag to your Comfy startup file to use this speedup on all models. Lastly, towards the end of production, I added a new temporal upsampler deroping second pass to my workflow. What this does is figure out which parts of a gen are high velocity or blurry due to motion, and then regens those specific frames as freeze frames, giving the model time to correctly render them. And it removes those extra frames afterwards. The result is much clearer action. This add-on roughly doubles gen times though, so use it only on shorter, higher-paced action shots. Genning the first few scenes, I'm starting to realize that there's some real difficulty brewing in writing out shot descriptions detailing what each character is doing at the exact same on-screen moments, such as with Silver Knight's sword being swung at the exact same time Desra uses air magic to leap upwards. Achieving true simultaneity in prompting is possible, but not perfect most of the time. It becomes immediately clear a lot of these shots will need to be cut down in post to feel more timed to actions. Which means much of my sound effects and Foley will have to be added in post. This instantly informed me that while Minimax will generate the bloated corpse of my shots, it's gonna come down to me being a butcher, to put it into useful pieces of juicy, coherent, action-filled meat. Sorry if I'm making you hungry. I'm also finding myself regenning shots more due to little inaccuracies in my prompt writing and planning. A simple, ambiguous word could cause the action to be misinterpreted, something you don't see right away in previews until you're about 3 minutes into genning. I must have regenerated the first 5 or so scenes 3 to 4 times each, and since I tend to put 2 to 3 separate cuts into each generation, gathering the useful little bits of shots mixed in with the unusable ones became kind of a new skill. I could break apart the shots in video editing and Frankenstein them all together into one finished segment that represented the best of the animations I could manage. At this point, I focus heavily on editing just to see what I've actually got so far. Like, is any of this even any good? I use all sorts of tricks in DaVinci Resolve to zoom, blur, and bloom past imperfections to create an atmosphere of polish, action, intensity, and sometimes even beauty too. I also realize I need to pick out some music to loosely time to the fight sequence. A proper music track can really amplify and elevate the legitimacy of how an action scene lands to viewers. I headed over to Pixabay's music section and scrolled through countless royalty-free battle themes to find one that doesn't have a YouTube content ID, which would effectively prevent me from using it. Of course, little did I know the next day Minimax would release its own music generation model. Anyway, too late. I already picked out this one and I noticed it already kind of matched up with the timing of what I had so far. By the time Desra got up onto the roof, I started to realize how much continuity is required for action scenes. So much of it is prompting, but I can't just describe the rooftop from the previous gen and hope that it gives me the same exact one. So I started adding in references to the last frame of the previous scene, so that way new gens have the same continuity and understanding of where this was right before this new moment. This is something that I start doing pretty much constantly at this point. It's not quite a keyframe, it's just context for the model to understand that this was the end of the shot immediately prior to this. From here on, my process was mostly just the same as I've already covered. Dialogue was easy, providing 15-second audio references for the characters' assigned voices. I just began to have fun coming up with quippy conversations and interesting new magical sequences, till finally it came time for Renfeld to transform into his vampire demon form. By this point, it was already the 3rd day of production, and I knew it could push to 4 if I spent too much time with him flying around trying to claw Desra to death. So, after editing his transformation, I buckled down to get the shot of him blasting forward at super speed, and I also knew that I wanted the combat to head into the sky, where Desra would finally be able to get the upper hand. Time was running short, so I didn't do as much hand-to-hand combat or the epic sky battle that I originally wanted, but when I look back at everything at this point, I feel good about what I have, and I decided to end the short with Renfeld's downfall coming as a result of the classic, why did the villain have to give a monologue when he could have just won right there trope. Now I'm going to let the whole short play out with each prompt for each scene displayed on the side. And now would be a good time for that good old like and subscribe, please. And leave a comment if I've helped you. I'm still just trying to grow a community of local stable diffusion advocates. So everything helps. Alright, see you in the next one.
I told him not to go ahead, but the eager fool wanted the pleasure all to himself.
I've already left your town. What the hell does killing me accomplish now?
Your silence, Desra. You're young and loud and, simply put, a liability.
Yeah, well, being a headache for assholes like you is kind of my specialty.
I'm rather glad Silver Knight couldn't finish the job now. Been a while since I've drawn mana like this.
You're out of practice, old man. Honestly, I expected more.
Oh, I have more. Let's see how prepared you are for the true power in a vampire's blood.
Bring it on, you oversized mosquito.
You're playing with ancient powers you can't even possibly begin to comprehend!
Monologues. Not even once.
Don't think you've won. The sun is about to dip below the horizon, and you will have no chance! I will! It's not possible.
There she is! Desra! Why did you run off?
Were you, cooking something?